ممكن يكون خالد يكون موجود؟
لا هو
انا بكون معاكم انتم شباب عن الاوبار اثنين. تعال. لا احنا بنحتاج سنين مع واحد مصري مع رفاعي. لا خالد شيخ تفضل.
بسم الله.
Maybe third review. Can we start or?
Yes, absolutely. Ala, please take it.
Bismillah, nabda. Assalamu alaikum. First of all, on behalf of Ubhar Capital Management and the staff, we would like to thank Mr. Mansour Al-Abdali and Mr. Khalid Al-Qasabi for their presence today with us. This is our first session of talks with CEOs and initiatives started by Ubhar Capital. As this is our first session of this initiative, we did our best to invite one of the most successful, profitable, and highly market cap company listed in Muscat Stock Exchange, that is OQGN Network. So thank you for being with us today, and we would be expecting a very fruitful talk with you guys. Thank you. You may please start.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning to all of you. There is a miscommunication because I thought I'll be making a speech, so I prepared a long list of points to be talked about, but it's okay. I can, I think, adapt to this style. And I would like to start by introducing ourselves. My name is Mansour Al-Abdali. I'm the CEO of the OQGN. I've been with the company since the year 2009. And I worked before that with PDO for almost 15 years, and primarily in the pipeline business. So I worked in the engineering, operation, and maintenance of the pipeline, either in PDO or in my career with OQGN. I'm also here joined by Khalid Al-Qasabi. He's our CFO. And I have also key members of the team like Saif Al-Hosni, who is leading the business development. And I also have Faisal Ma'mari looking after people, technology, and culture. So here we intend to share with you, is this? Okay. So we'll start our presentation by sharing with you our journey. The company was established in the year 2000 under the name at that time OGC, Oman Gas Company, and primarily to operate and maintain and own gas networks in the Sultanate of Oman. We have evolved since then, and you can see here in the display or on the screen our key developments and achievements since that time. The key points I would like to talk about is the establishment of the RAB in the year 2008, where the company took over the assets from the government, followed by another acquisition of the gas pipeline streams going towards Oman LNG. And another key milestone that we are very proud of is the public listing of the company as of October 2023. Okay, so key story of OQGN. We are the sole owner, operator, and maintainer of the gas network in the Sultanate of Oman. We have a concession that was signed with the government, ratified by a royal decree in the year 2020, granting us a concession up to the year 2070. The company is focused on a strong growth prospects, either in the core business of transportation of natural gas, or even playing a role in the energy transition. We have our strategy is very much aligned with the vision of the country in terms of the diversification of the economy in the Sultanate of Oman. And you can also see here in the map the stretch of OQGN pipeline network. It nearly covers all parts of the country, from far north to the far south, with total kilometers of high pressure pipelines of more than 4,000 kilometers. So as I mentioned, we have a large network of more than 4,000 kilometers. We maintain a good network pressure along the entire network, and we do that by having key booster stations located and key locations along the network. Basically in Fahoud, Buraimi, and Nimr. We have almost 500 experienced staff, and we connect more than 130 consumers to our network. They are primarily in the power sector, industrial. The Oman Energy is connected to our network, and we are also proud to say we are even supplying gas to the oil industry for supporting their operations. 2023 was an exceptional year for us. We have maintained the network at 100% availability, and we delivered the highest ever gas in our history of 40.5 billion standard cubic meter to the industries in Oman. We are very much pursuing our vision, and you can see the vision of the company to be the national champion in the management and development of the energy infrastructure through innovative and sustainable solutions. And all our business objectives are very much set and aligned to achieve this vision. In terms of our mission, we are very proud to say we transport energy in a reliable, efficient, safe, and sustainable manner. I think we have already touched on some of those aspects in terms of reliability, and we will be showing you very soon what we do on sustainability. You can see OQGN is considered provides this indispensable link between gas suppliers and the gas consumers. And you can see we connect our network to the major oil and gas companies, the like of PDO, Shell, BP, Oxy, OQ is also connected to our network. And we have a connectivity with Dolphin at the border with the UAE in Al Buraimi. All of this is connecting, supplying gas to more than 130 gas consumers, and they vary. We supply gas to all the power plants in the country, apart from those few who are now working on alternative energy. We also, majority of our gas is also supplied to Oman LNG, with being the highest consumers of gas And as I said earlier, we also very proud to say we are creating value, supporting the government and supporting IGC to create value out of the gas through the supplying gas to extraction plants. The extraction plants like the LPG, which is commissioned in 2023 at Salalah. And we're also connecting the NGLE plant, which was commissioned 2020, which extracts the expensive molecules to support the plastic industry in Sohar. You can see also we are very proud of our HSC records, and our LTI on term of actual is 0.22 compared to our target of 0.68. Motor vehicle incidents is also something we track because we do a lot of traveling, especially in our operations or even our contractors when we construct new assets. And we are very happy to say we are much lower than our set targets. I already mentioned about gas availability for the year 2023 of 100%. And we are also very happy to see in terms of customer satisfaction survey, it's at 4.64 out of 5. Another area of focus is sustainability, and OQGN is proud to say we are amongst the very few and first company who start disclosing on ESG metrics, and ESG in sustainability in OQGN is managed and honored at the highest level. There is a specific department focusing on sustainability, and as well as we have a committee head by the CEO of the company ensuring a well-set program for ESG initiatives. And a key focus areas of focus on sustainability, you can see it here, and we're very much focusing on promoting environmental stewardship, as well as we put good emphasis on our people in terms of looking after the welfare of our staff, our business partners, and the community that we operate within, and empowering the people of OQGN to ensure agility and efficiency of our business. Another area of focus, and that's the local content. We're very much proud to support ICV programs in several aspects, and you might have heard recently that OQGN even signed MOUs with almost 16 institutions in Oman just to support the research and development, as well as exchange of skills with local entities. In terms of governance, we are it's a key element of our sustainability, setting appropriate corporate governance program, focusing on risk management, business ethics. That's something we are also very proud of. And another item that I like to talk about is the cybersecurity. For OQGN, we are giving this highest attention, and we have appropriately segregated our IT infrastructure, which manages the business of the company, from the OT, which very much manages the assets and facilities for the transportation of gas. So again, this is another areas of focus, just to elaborate more on the ESG program, and very proud to say we set up last year our decarbonization strategy, which should take us to the net zero by the year 2050. 2050. I already mentioned about our ESG disclosure, which is now in the MSX website as well our own website. We've done that in Q1 2024. And we are very soon will be, we have already issued our ESG report for 2023, and it should be available to public very soon. I mentioned about sustainability, which is overseen by a specific department, as well as the CEO of the company. And of course, board of directors are updated on every quarter on status of our ESG programs. This is some just to allude more into our efforts on sustainability. We managed to reduce our emissions in scope 1 and scope 2 by 43%. We started by doing a baseline in 2021, and in 2023 we were able to make a good effect on reducing our emissions. Net zero by 2050. As I mentioned, we have already put a proper decarbonization plan, and we set a comprehensive action plan to take us to this target. We're also looking into our offices. We are very proud to even to say that we are trying to make our new office energy efficient to support these type of programs. And here again, a few more statistics related to our sustainability. And we are very proud to say OQGN is 94% immunized. We do have a women committee in OQGN looking after the women's affairs, and we are even digitalizing some of our internal systems and solutions just to make sure efficiency in this whole process, as well as the effect of HSC is very much embedded into the objectives of the business. And just here another metrics. I don't know, maybe bother you about, you will have access to this if you don't already have very soon. In terms of gas transportation, you can see our network in terms of growth. We are standing at more than 4,000 kilometers. We expect that to raise in the coming 4 or 5 years to almost 4,500. And you can see here, we also the production or the gas transportation is growing as well. Last year, 40.5 billion standard cubic meter of gas. We expect this to be raising continuously, at least for the coming 4 years. In terms of hydrogen or alternative energy, OQGN is trying to mimic the success that we've done in the transportation of natural gas to also develop or conceptualize common used infrastructure for hydrogen. And we are the first national champion to sign an MOU with Hydro, as well as we have partnered with strategical partners like Flexes, who already in the same mission like ours in terms of expanding to hydrogen. And OQGN, as we speak, is already working with Hydro, Infraco, as well as a number of a joint steering committee managed by MEM and key members of OIE and infrastructure companies. And that's for the same purpose, is to make connectivity of hydrogen between the developers to areas of either shipping or utilization. Our current focus is in Duqm and Salalah, as well as Al Jazir, because these are the areas that the government have granted concessions to several developers. In terms of carbon capture, you can also see here OQGN is trying to do the same for CO2, where we try to conceptualize a CO2 network between emissions to either sequestration or utilization. And we are also proud to be a part of a joint steering committee led by the Ministry of Energy and Minerals, and OQGN is leading the transportation stream. In terms of financials, very quickly, I'll go through, then you can take questions, Khalid. So you can see the growth of OQGN net profit and revenue. It's grown from 43 million in the year 2021 to 55 million last year. Also, our asset base has grown, and it stands in the year 2023 at just higher than 1 billion Omani riyal. So I would like to wrap my presentation with the key attributes that make OQGN is an exciting investment proposition. And we're summarizing those in, as you see on the screen, but to just iterate the key ones, OQGN is the sole gas transporter in Oman up to the year 2070. We provide this indispensable link between the gas supply and the gas consumers, and you can imagine the importance of our network and our efficiency to both businesses. We're very proud that our financial model is stable and predictable, because it's based on RAB. We leverage on growth prospects, which is very promising. The success of OQGN in the transportation of natural gas can be mimicked in the country, and it's been very much supported by the policymakers in the country for the transportation of hydrogen and CO2. And I would like to summarize, and I have demonstrated already, that sustainability is now very much embedded on the business strategies of OQGN. So that wraps my presentation, and we are here available to answer any questions or queries.
Thank you, Mr. Mansour, for the presentation. It was really insightful and informative, and we really wish you all the best. My colleague, Ms. Ahlam Al-Harthi, and I will be asking a couple of questions, and then we might open the space for the audience to ask their questions as well. And we might get questions from the people who are attending online as well. So if you may please allow us to start with our questions.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning. Thank you. We are grateful that you accept our invitation in our first session for Ubhar Capital. My first question, it will be, could you give us a small brief about the Masra LNG bunkering project between OQ and Total Energies? And give us detail of the tenure and value of the contract, and as well the additional revenue that the company gets from the project.
In regards to Marsa project, this is a business collaboration between OQ and Total for installing an LNG bunker in Bihar. OQGN role will be providing the connection. So the connection assets and facilities will be constructed by OQGN. And we are already working with Total in this project. We're also working with our regulator for any requirement to increase the capacity on the backbone of the network towards Sudan. Of course, at this stage, we cannot say what is really the value of the project. It's already been in the news from Total, but the part concerning ourselves is the backbone, which is the expansion of the mainstream to Suhar, which we are still working with our team in the business development. They are still developing the studies necessary if there will be any requirement for increasing the capacity in the stream.
Thank you.
Okay, my first question is regarding the agreement that you have with Hydro. We believe that Hydro has recently awarded two major hydrogen projects with a total value of $11 billion. What potential opportunities and benefits do you see out of those major projects for OQ Gas Network?
As I said, and maybe Saif is our subject matter expert in this field. I'll give you some chance to speak up as well, Saif. But OQGN is considered the national champion part of the efforts and working groups being set up to make sure this area of the business is delivered efficiently. But Saif, you can also elaborate more because you are the one leading this stream with the government.
Thank you, Mansour. So as Mansour described, the intention for hydrogen is to mimic natural gas. So the plan is to have a common use infrastructure that transports the hydrogen molecule from the blocks all the way to the areas of export or areas of utilization. So if things go according to the plan of the government, so by 2030, we should see hydrogen networks developing gradually to cater for the national strategy. And these are really owned and operated by OQGN. Hence, a new asset base for hydrogen by OQGN, and then we can charge margins and revenues and tariffs based on this infrastructure.
Thank you.
Okay, what is the current regulated for the asset base, and what is the guidance for it for 2024 and 2025 and 2026?
All right. So as what we have seen in the slides, the current RAB value is just above 1 billion. So it's approaching the 2.7 billion USD. And we are, as we also have announced, the last price control that we currently on, the price control is extended from 2024 to 2027. The expected growth in asset base is around 3%. That's the net of the depreciation. So around 3% year on year. Not to mention the last year growth from the first year of the price control to the last year of the price control is actually around 7%. 6.9 and 7% is supported by the acquisition, the major acquisition. 3% is our target baseline for the growth.
Okay, another question. Sorry. Are you looking for any potential acquisition during this year?
In terms of acquisition, what happened in price control 3, we've been approved a capex of 500 million for the coming 4 years, $500 million. And that's inclusive of any acquisition programs. I would like to highlight that OQGN is have already procured all major assets that constitutes the backbone of the gas transportation network in the country. There are some small assets, private assets owned by a particular operator, which OQGN is assessing. Is that viable? Do we have a viable acquisition, or can we use our fund somewhere which can give us a higher revenue? So we see big opportunities for OQGN in investing on the major on the main parts of the network rather than these small connections. But this is something our business development team, they are really working on to make sure we spend our money where we make the highest value.
And could you give us and provide update on the future CapEx guidance?
As I said, for us, we've been above 500 million. And as we speak, we are debottlenecking the stream towards Sur of a big pipeline, 48-inch, 65 kilometers. We just commissioned a 200-kilometer stream towards Salalah region. And we also now focusing in Duqm, where we are constructing already one pipeline under construction, two other pipelines now under the finalization of the required engineering studies.
So my second question was regarding the debt of the company. Maybe Mr. Khader Qassadi can elaborate more on it. According to our understanding, that the existing cap on the debt is 70% of the RAM. Has this percentage changed, and how do you see the financial resilience and the flexibility of your balance sheet for any additional sort of borrowing, and what are the uses for such borrowings?
Yeah. Okay. So we have three facilities dominated in USD, and one in USD, one in Oman Riyal. The USD with a tenor of 7 years, Oman Riyal with 10 years, with only one covenant in both the facilities, that the asset or the total debt should not exceed 70% of the total RAB asset. Now, if we're talking about the current percentage, is around the 30%. So we still have that headroom for potential growth in the future. And if we compare ourselves as well with the peers in European countries, when it comes to EBITDA to net debt, we actually below the average. So what we can see that we still, in terms of the leverage, we're still fine to acquire more financing when needed. The current facilities still have some commitment value to tap on if needed as well. So we have that trust with the banking sectors.
Yeah, okay, thank you. And regarding the existing debt, is it hedged or partially hedged?
It's naturally hedged because the Oman Riyal facility that we have is with a fixed rate of 5.7% for 4 years, and intended to have a 4 years like a fixed rate is actually to go with a price control. The other USD, the second half of the facility is in USD, but with the floating rate. And it's in the average because, again, if we're comparing ourselves with the peers, the lowest you can see in the market is a 30% hedge. We are 50. You might find entities with 70% hedge. So they don't go to extreme of total debt hedge. We're trying to give ourselves flexibility to gain from any potential adjustment on the rate, on the exchange rate, on the interest rate. Yeah.
Thank you very much. My last question is regarding the existing dividend policy. After 3 quarters, almost 3 quarters of being IPO, how comfortable are you with the current, dividend policy that you have?
So the policy says either 90% of the net profit or 5% incremental to what is paid in the prior year. We are very confident, as we say, we still have that leverage to sustain dividend distribution to the shareholder, but potentially also the growth which we have seen also, or the potential growth which already been approved by the regulator. Not to mention, Mansour have mentioned the 500, but this is excluding any potential future FIDs within the period. We might go to the regulator and ask for approval for any FID project that might come. So in terms of the dividends, yes, we want to continue subject to the board and the shareholder approval as well. that to continue for the coming 2 years, this year and coming year, we will pay the minimum of 90% or 5% incremental to the year before dividends. Yes.
Thank you very much. We're done with our questions. If some of the audience would like to ask any questions before we go to the online questions, so please, you might raise your hand.
Hi, and thank you for allowing us to ask questions. My question is mostly related to your depreciation. And I think Mr. Khalid Al-Qasabi is going to have the answers. So if your regulated asset base relative to your revenue is slightly lower than the value of your contracts plus the revenue, is the depreciation 13 million Omani riyals, does it have any deviations, or is it a stable rate of depreciation, the 30,000 riyals?
So the approximate 30 million Omani riyal per year is actually moving toward also a higher depreciation as we are building the growth of the company and the RAB asset. But we're saying the net growth would be around the 3%. So a net of a depreciation, the RAB asset is still foreseen to grow by 3% year on year. This is still on the horizon. I mean, I would say this current price control, we will still see that growth. Depreciation will also grow along the side, but at a certain point will plateau. Like I can't say that this will happen in 2030 or later, but we think this will plateau at some level. And we wish that it will plateau for a certain period of time, but it might also be going in depreciation faster than the growth. But we're expecting that because our asset would require some renovation, overhauling, like maintenance, will also help the depreciation value.
And from a perspective of cost optimization on the OPEX front, do you have any strategies to reduce the depreciation?
So the depreciation is actually affecting our top line. So the depreciation, when it comes, is actually get reimbursed. And that's actually one of the factors in the revenue elements, the depreciation. When it grows with the revenue. So it's a complete net off as a depreciation. The optimization might come from the allowance of extra OPEX from the regulator and digitalizing of some of the operational needs of the government of the company. But for this year in particular, what we have said that we are not targeting to go lower than 95% of the total allowed OPEX by the regulator. So our profitability compared to the OPEX allowance, it will grow compared to a previous price control.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I have the next question, please. So in terms of capex increases, I mean, you've given us good guidance. Could you please help us understand a rough split between the organic versus inorganic capex split over the next couple of years in Omani Riyal terms, please?
I will give that question to Saif.
The microphone.
So basically, maybe Saif can elaborate, but I just want to say when we talk about organic, our current business is the transportation of natural gas. And we already have a concession, as we said, with the government for up to the year 2070. We have a monopoly in this business, and that's why the Authority for Public Service Regulations is a regulator of OQGN to make sure we deliver our allowed our business in an efficient manner. When we talk about the non-core, basically we are keen to venture into new businesses, which take us completely out of the RAB concept. Which you can imagine, RAB concept for us is nearly a secured investment opportunity once the regulator approve our investment. We're trying to transit into the hydrogen. We're trying to transit in the transportation of CO2. And for that, we are leveraging on the success we made. We're also leveraging on the cost efficiency for a common used infrastructure. Because instead of every developer, for example, look at the hydro camps and put their own infrastructure for the transportation of their commodity, the common use can be more cost effective. And if you all know that the concessions for the developers, they're coming far into inland, almost 100 kilometers away from shore. But as I said, our subject matter expert is safe, so maybe see if you can say a few words in this area.
Perfectly said by Mansour. So I think I'm out of a job. As Mansour said, we differentiate between regulated and non-regulated. But if your question about organic means organic growth versus M&As, then the guidance provided and what was allowed by the regulator is $500 million USD for the entire growth. 25% of that is for acquisitions, and the remaining is for either green or brownfield expansion in the network.
Thank you very much. I think we can go online questions. Yeah, maybe Natika, you can help us with the online questions.
Hello?
Yes, please, we can hear you.
Hello. Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please
Hi.
go ahead.
Hi, good morning. This is Bishan Bala from Vision Capital. Thank you so much for this opportunity and the presentation to interact with the team. A couple of queries. Firstly, on the debt side, could you just mention what your cost of borrowing is currently? I mean, you've given us some sort of guidance in the notes on term loan 1, but on term loan 2, you've just given us the amount. So if you could just let us know what the current cost of borrowing is on the overall loan book.
So as I said, the Omani Riyal is actually at 5.7% interest, but the USD, as it's also on the financial, is 1.9% plus the SOFR. So it's almost 50% in average.
Now, Khalid, that's on term loan 1, which you very clearly outlined, saying that it's 5.7 plus a 2 plus you have a 2% per annum differential. And on the USD, it's SOFR plus 1.9. You also have a term loan 2, which was $800 million. Is that also at similar terms, or is that different? Or has there been some change in that?
No, this is, well, actually, in June, we have refinanced our facility in total. So we currently have 3 facilities, 2 Wakala and 1 USD conventional. Yeah, so yes.
And
Okay.
Khalid, what would be the overall split of the loan between the USD and the OMR facility? Because and also the USD facility would not be sort of back to back, right? It would be depending on the market rates. Could you just give us some guidance there?
It depends on the market rate, as I said, 1.9%, but it's 50%. 50%, almost 50% USD, and the other 50% is Omani Riyal. And that's why we say it's 50%, almost 50% hedge, because the Omani Riyal is at a fixed rate of 5.7.
Right. So just to summarize, you have a 360 million Riyal Omani Riyal overall loan as of first quarter, of which 50% is in OMR and 50% is in USD. Is that correct?
That's we're talking of USD. What we have is almost 900 million USD loan.
Correct. I understand. Yes, almost 900 million USD, of which let's say $450 million is in USD at SOFR plus 1.9%. Correct? Is that an accurate assumption?
Yes, true.
All right. Secondly, Khalid, I just wanted to understand in terms of the overall network for transportation. So you have a model where you basically are responsible for building any new network, and from time to time you carry out acquisitions of existing sort of assets in the country, right? Now, could you just give us some sense of what the overall pipeline is for these other assets that could sort of be acquired by OQGN over the years. So your own infrastructure is 4,000 kilometers. You plan to grow this at 3%, which will be a combination of organic and inorganic. In terms of the inorganic infrastructure, what would be the total size in the country?
So basically, organic growth is, as what Saif has said, is almost more than 85% will be organic. The 25% might potentially be through an acquisition. The acquisition is already highlighted that those pipelines are actually in the concession of the other operators that we're trying for our help to operate them with efficient manner because we're the pipeline operator. So it's around 25% at the maximum, yes.
Okay, noted. And last question from my side, in terms of, you've been very clear in terms of providing us visibility for the CapEx outlay during price control 3 till 2027. Beyond that, would we see a similar sort of CapEx outlay, or would it be muted? Or at what stage do you think you will achieve sort of a saturation where effectively your depreciation will equal to maintenance CapEx, thereby maintaining your RAB base? Because that's effectively the asset that you are monetizing right now.
Steve, you want to comment on the growth?
I'm just trying to understand in terms of,
Yes, beyond 2024, 2028, you mean, yes.
Yeah. So
yes.
We are not in a position currently to comment on something that hasn't been approved by the regulator yet, or so outside the current price control. I think if you look at the national reserves of natural gas, which is public data, and the government's plans to expand in Duqm, expand the industry in Salalah and Sohar as well, you can project at least the growth projections. So I think beyond 27, we cannot commit currently exactly until we have that exercise of going to the regulator and also understanding from the shipper the growth plans for the network.
I understand. I respect that. All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. That's it from my side. Wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. As of here, already exceeded the time. Thank you for the audience. Thank you for everyone who attended physically. And thank you, Mr. Mansour, Mr. Khalid, Mr. Saif, and Mr. Faisal for your presence today. Again, on behalf of Ubhar Capital Management and the staff, we'd like to thank you for this opportunity. And as I have stated earlier, that this is our first session. And we did our best.
I will take the lead on that. Thank you, Mr. Mansour, and your team, and OQGN for this good, insightful
presentation about the company and the growth plan. And I think this is part of our journey together, to give insight to the investors in Oman and internationally, inshallah. Thank you for making it happen, and thank you for coming and for this invitation. Thank you very much.
Yeah.